No, it's fine.
Okay.
No, it's absolutely fine.
Are we going to do the open? Let's do it. Thank you very much. It is time for Texas men's basketball presented by Coors Light. 9 days away from the season opener. It's the final dress rehearsal before it is for real as the Longhorns go up against D2 up-and-comer Angelo State. Mo Galindo here with Lance Blanks. And Lance, Texas is going to be without Snoop Roach and Tevin Mack for violating team rules. Only 7 scholarship players available, but one of them is a star freshman, Jared Allen.
Oh, yeah, and heavily awaited by many Longhorn fans. It's going to be a lot of fun watching him with that cowboy hat tonight.
Giddy up.
You know, that's the hat that we're talking about.
The fro.
Heavily recruited, had a great summer, bonded with Coach Smart. So it'll be a lot of fun to watch Jared and just see what he can do on the basketball floor at the collegiate level.
But he's got friends in this top 11 recruiting class. It's not just Jared Allen.
The thing I like about this group of this Fantastic Four is they are dynamic. By dynamic, I mean different styles of play, different levels of success in high school. Jones, like Allen, was a McDonald's All-American. Banks, relatively young basketball player. And then Young comes from a basketball family in that his dad, Michael, played for the infamous Phi Slamma Jamma University of Houston Cougars. So he's got basketball in his blood as well.
Jacob Young can shoot. This is an Angelo State team coming off a 25-7 campaign, second best in program history, only better in the previous year. They've gone to the Sweet 16 back-to-back years, only times they've ever been there, and they come into this year ranked number 19 in the D2 coaches poll. Keep in mind, Texas played an exhibition match with Tarleton State last season. They came into that matchup as the number 1 D2 program in America. About to tip here at the Irwin Center. Jared Allen at half court, getting ready to tip, blah, 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 blah. Clap, 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 clap. All right. I'm fine. It's up to you guys and Lance.
I'm good, and I'm good.
7 minutes. That was great right there. No, it was. Will it stay that way?
Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you to the Christmas Center for tonight's game, featuring the visiting Angelo State Rams and your Texas Longhorns. We ask at this time to do this rise in honor of our country and join in singing the national anthem performed by the Longhorn Headband.
It's time for Texas men's basketball, presented by Coors Light. 9 days away from the season opener. The final dress rehearsal before it is for real. Texas against the D2 up-and-comer Angelo State. Lo Galindo here with Lance Blanks. Texas is going to be without Snoop Roach and Tevin Mack tonight for violating team rules. Only 7 scholarship players available, but one of them is star freshman Jared Allen. And Lance, we've been waiting for this moment.
Yes, we have. With bated breath, we got to see the other guys in the orange and white. Hey, the orange and white scrimmage with Jared Allen didn't play, so this will be the first time for Longhorn fans to get to lay eyes on him in a college setting. He's the real deal. He showed it this summer with Coach Smart.
He's the cornerstone of this recruiting class. Now incoming freshman ranked number 11 in the ESPN 100. He's got buddies that can do some work too.
Yeah, we talked about Jared already, but how about the other 3? Jones, a fellow McDonald's All-American. James Banks, a little bit different energy, can play alongside Allen. And then, of course, Young can shoot it from anywhere on the...
How about this Angelo State team, though? 25-7 last season, second best record in program history. Previous year, the best. They've been to the D2 Sweet 16 in back-to-back years. First time they've ever been, period. And they come into this year ranked number 19 in the D2 Coaches Poll. You look at the starting 5 for this Rams team. They have 3 Division I transfers, players that played at the highest level of basketball from a year ago. And this is up against the Texas team that comes in undermanned.
Yeah,
Jared Allen, the tip, and he wins possession against Justin Holland.
Yeah, this team, this Angelo State team will come in here and try to compete against Texas. And, hey, I think they have a chance to scare Texas at least, especially consider they have a real point guard in Dillon.
Eric Davis gathers his own miss. That's going to be a goaltend call as the second shot is still over that cylinder. And so you see the guy we've called the alpha getting the horns on the board, 2-zip. They're going to call that on Texas, actually.
Yeah, that was like over the back.
Saw the official point to the cylinder. Get that clarified as Shaq Claire fighting for the rebound, and he gets it. Andrew Jones running the point.
A lot of times when you have a team, at least on paper, that can be overmatched, that's what you see.
See, it looked like Hollins went up there and was touching the ball when it was in the cylinder.
Yeah, and the offensive or defensive goaltending potentially.
Kendall Yancey firing from outside. No good. Davis with the rebound, and it's taken away by Quay King. Shaq Claire, no good. You see right there, Hollins getting a piece of that. He's one of the D1 transfers from Cal State Bakersfield. Actually set the school record for blocked shots in a season a year ago.
Yeah,
and Gustav Pujols doing the Rams on the board.
Doing what he does, which is alter and block shots. He's going to be a load for Texas tonight. I mean, it's especially going against Claire. I mean, you're talking about a guy who needs and gets a lot of space to get shots up. But Hollins, with that length, it's not going to be easy to score over him because he has exceptional timing.
And that's something that Cinco Boone, the head coach of Angelo State, told us, that compared to most D2 teams, they've got a lot more length here with this Angelo State team. Pujols to the line, completes the three-point play. And we have some clarification now. That was a goaltend on Angelo State, so that initial putback by Davis did count.
Exhibition for everybody, Lowell.
Yeah, we're just getting warmed up.
You see, look how long it takes them to get an offense, and this is where I think Texas misses a traditional point guard, because you get dribble, dribble, dribble from Yancey.
Do they have a traditional point guard?
No, there isn't one, and so they're going to have to do it by committee. But the look they got out of that, I mean, it wasn't clear what they were looking for, but they got what looked to be like almost air ball and didn't get a whole lot out of it offensively.
Well, we did have a foul call on the play on Hollins. So Texas retains possession.
And then also with this lineup, this is the type of lineup Texas can be looking to play with this year.
Claire and Allen in the low post. Holland's giving them all sorts of issues and forces the travel.
Yeah, this is going to be a real matchup. Here you see two possessions by Claire down low. One is blocked or altered. Here's a second one. Watch Hollins move his feet. Puts his body on and moves his feet. Gets those long arms up and forces the travel by Claire.
That's something Coach Boone said in pre-game is the flush is there and the flex from Cornelius Hudson.
I'm going to say it again, Lowell. This team is going to come to play with Texas, and that's exactly what you need to do against an aggressive veteran club like Angelo State, and that's run it right back at them aggressively. Good job by Jones not picking up his dribble and forcing the defense to stop him, which they didn't. Took the hit, showed his strength, and was able to finish.
Andrew Jones, true freshman shooting guard from Irving, Texas, MacArthur High School. McDonald's and Jordan Brand, All-American, ranked number 29 overall in the ESPN 100.
Texas here going to apply a little pressure. Interesting to see how Angelo State attacks it, or if they attack it.
They handled the half court well.
You see, because Texas doesn't have a traditional point guard, I think they're going to have to rely on their defense to carry them for stretches during the season.
Allen with the rebound. Jones transition off the glass, and no. Eric Davis chases it down.
Right now, Texas showing its prowess on the boards, especially the offensive boards.
Exhibition match for Texas. 9 days away from the season opener, and James Banks is called for the offensive foul. And this is something the coaching staff pointed out to us, reaching back to the scrimmage they had the previous Wednesday against SMU. Just too many violations like this, fouls on the offense.
Yeah, and that goes on Davis. He's got to wait and allow Banks to get set. You don't allow him to get set, you're going to get your big in trouble in terms of setting that screen.
And that's been an issue for Banks in the early going, staying out of foul trouble, but when he does that. Affects shots. Banks with the block. He had 7 fouls in that orange and white scrimmage a couple weeks ago. Jacob Young just into the game, another star freshman, and Davis from deep range. Devontae Pratt pulls down the rebound. Tied up at 5, trying to break the tie is Kevin Booz, but he misses everything.
And Booz being one of the staples here for this Angelo State team. And again, it's 5-5 here early. And the longer you allow a team like Angelo State to stick around, the more confidence they get. And also, these guys are veteran guys that feel like they belong on this court, even though they're playing against Texas.
Travel call on Prince Foster. This is a very experienced team. Cinco Boone, the given name, Patrick Henry Boone V. We'll get into his story a little later in the game. He took over for Chris Beard, who's now the head coach at Texas Tech. And they've got this program rolling.
Yeah,
Angelo State.
Coach Boone's been a part of them going to the Sweet 16. And so he's got some winning and some success in his DNA. And I talked to him about it earlier and said, Coach, you know, you're going to slow it up, or how are you going to do things? And no, we're going to play the way we play, even though we're playing against Texas. And you have to applaud that, considering that they, on paper, don't have the size or depth that Texas has.
Primarily play man-to-man. At times they'll sprinkle in some zone, but says that's not likely in a game like this against Texas. Why is that, Lance?
Well, it's because they're trying to get ready for the season. And I applaud it, because if you go and try to do things that aren't you, it just makes it very difficult to win and compete.
Look at the hustle from Banks, nearly gets that ball back. Pushing forward are the Rams. And a travel call on Devontae Pratt. He kept moving.
I'll tell you what it looks like here, because there's 2 early traveling calls against Angelo State. It looks like they're even playing faster than they're comfortable with. And you see guys walking before they put the ball down and just making what I call careless turnovers. They probably should be slowing it down to a manageable pace where they can execute.
And it's not a rowdy crowd, a raucous crowd right here at the Irwin Center at this point in time, but this is a far bigger environment that these guys have played in terms of venue.
Correct. It can be cavernous in an environment like this.
A nice baseline move from Allen Banks to follow and one. Freshman backing up the freshman. And smiles from Shaka Smart as maybe that is the play that gets the momentum going for Texas. Nervous energy perhaps gone. And we saw the electricity that Jared Allen can bring and all the dirty things that you get from James Banks as well. He gets the follow. He's going to go to the line as well as Texas with a 7-5 lead over Angelo State. Welcome back to Texas Exhibition Basketball. It's 7-5 Longhorns over Angelo State. Welcome inside the Irwin Center. Lo Galindo here with my guy. Back in the Irwin Center with Lance Blanks, the Texas legend. And Lance, so far we're seeing Texas 3 of 12 from the field, but at the same time, they're getting the looks they want inside.
Yeah, they are getting the look, getting the ball where they want it on the low block. But Angelo State's doing a very nice job of defending in the post. Where they're having trouble is corralling that rebound, because Angelo State simply doesn't have the length and size that Texas does. They're just going to have to rebound by committee if they want to turn those good defensive possessions into offense.
James Banks had to clean up after Jared Allen made a pretty nifty baseline move. Completes the three-point play and some pressure, some havoc, if you will, from the Texas defense.
So far, Angelo State's doing the right thing, attacking this press.
Pratt knocks it down. It's a one-point game.
Pratt did exactly what you're supposed to do in the press. Make them pay. Getting the nice jump shot to fall.
That is not Banks' game. As he pulls up to the J.
Playing a bit outside of himself, but
Pratt letting it fly. They call him the backbone of this team. And he's taking the team on his back, giving the Rams the lead.
Yeah, and Coach Boone, he encourages this environment because he gives guys the green light to take the shots that they need to take and take the shots that they're comfortable with. And I said at the beginning of the broadcast, and I'll say it again, they're going to compete with this Texas team. And the other thing that they have a little bit of an advantage of, they've got some history at the point guard position where that's a position for Texas. They're still trying to figure things out.
Pull up from the outside. Prince Foster tried to keep it alive. That was Thomas Tishikaya, originally from France. Angelo State going everywhere to get this roster put together. And Claire called for a travel. Second time that Angelo State has been able to get Claire indecisive with the feet.
Yeah, excellent defense there by Angelo State with the early rotations. What this tells me is the coaching staff did a great job with their game plan, and Claire's got to do a better job of catching that ball and setting his feet. Again, another careless turnover.
So you mentioned running the point. Kevin Booz played at Lamar a year ago. He is a pure point guard as Claire says, get that out. Possession still alive as Booz picks up the rebound.
Yeah, and Booz, they fell into Booz because there were some top D1 schools that were after him, and as Coach Boone says, they got him on a transcript situation. He was able to come to Angelo State.
Rams throwing it away. Davis wants to run. Awkward, but gets it to go.
Well, you can see early here with Davis, he wants to take more of the scoring load here with this Texas team. There's never a chance of him to give that ball up. The other thing I noticed differently about Davis that wasn't the case last year, I can see in his body, he's a lot stronger than he was this time last year. Hats off to Texas's training and athletic and Navy SEAL and all the things that they do in the preseason to get these guys ready. This young man Davis, this is a different body than he had a year ago.
Daniel Roos, the wild man, strength and conditioning coach, tasked with getting these guys in the type of shape they need to be to play this style. And when you look at Eric Davis Jr., doesn't look like he's necessarily bulked up. Is more that he's trimmed off some of that baby fat that you come in with from high school.
Yeah, he's and the thing about young guys, when they get to college, they're changing every 60 to 90 days in terms of body, physically, mentally, and we see the totality of that over the course of the last 4 or 5 months over the summer and early fall.
Jerky, Kendall Yancey, back-to-back buckets that weren't necessarily the prettiest, but they got the job done.
And coming back this way, Angelo State runs a lot of motion, so there are a lot of reads, finding the right people, and don't call a lot of sets. Here early, they're getting a lot of open looks, and that's because they are willing passers and aggressive scorers on the floor for Angelo State.
A lot like the offense that Texas will see when they match up against Chris Baird in Texas Tech later this season in Big 12 play.
And with Texas, Lowell, you have a lot of guys that are looking to score who are running the point position, so they'll end up with the ball when they come across half court and then end up taking the shot as well. Because it's not because they're being selfish, it's because naturally the Texas guards are looking to score. Again, no traditional point guard for this Texas ball club.
See the moves by Kevin Booz right there.
Booz is very quick with the ball. Very difficult to stay in front of him. In fact, here you see Texas trying to switch.
Good look from Cornelius Hudson. Jones bouncing it outside to the sharpshooter. And that is another freshman, Jacob Young.
Yeah, and Jacob Young comes off the bench looking to shoot and score. He's one of those rare guys that's always comfortable and hot or warm and able to shoot the ball low. That to me is a skill set because some guys need to get in the flow of things before they take shots.
He shows up in the flow.
Yes, exactly. He gets off the bus in the show and a timely pass on target, comfortable taking that shot. I mean, he's just a confident shooter. A lefty like his dad who played at U of H, as we talked about in the open, and it's just a basketball lifer. You can tell it's in his blood and he's grown up with it.
Brother playing the Indiana Pacers. Right there with Miles Turner. 8-zip run for Texas. Trying to get a defensive stop. And that's going to be a foul on the Longhorns. So we go back and we revisit the circumstances Texas comes in here, and you see James Banks. Looks like that one may have rolled off the knee of Hudson. We give it to Angelo State.
I think because they called a foul.
Well, there you go. That would explain it. Like you said, exhibition, right?
Yeah, that's right. We're all getting comfortable.
Corner 3 attempt, Quan King, and it's pulled down by Andrew Jones. But how much would you say they missed the presence of a Tevin Mack and a Snoop Roach in this game?
Well, I think what they're missing is the opportunity to begin the gel, because they haven't had an opportunity to play together as a unit against another team.
Claire, the hook, rebound King.
And right now, Hollins has really done a nice job against Claire on that low block.
And the Rams have gone cold from the field.
Yeah, I mean, if the Rams could make a shot, they'd be with or up in this game. They're getting the kind of looks you want. Texas with the early shot. And that's what I mean about not having a traditional point guard.
That one will not fall for Quay King. The Rams have missed their last 10 shots from the field. Shaka Smart wants to take some time, think about it a little bit. So we go from that orange and white scrimmage where both Texas teams shot better than 50% from the field. Right now, it's a lot of defense, a lot of bad offense. I don't know. 22% from the Rams, 30% for the Horns.
College basketball on Longhorn Network is presented by Coors Light, official sponsor of the Texas Longhorns.
Keep those McDonald's All-Americans coming. Jared Allen and Andrew Jones, the two latest to join this Texas program. And there's a long list in recent history of Texas landing some of the best talent in America. TJ Ford atop that list. We saw TJ, he's here in the house. We were a little concerned when we saw holes in his pants and in his sweatshirt, but he explained to us that's the style.
That's the style. No.
That's the style.
Yeah, and he kicked it off in the new millennium as the McDonald's All-American, and then maybe even the only McDonald's All-American in Texas who has holes in his sweatshirt.
Fashion forward.
That's right.
That is what he is known for. TJ Ford, always great hanging out with one of the Texas legends. .10:46 left to go here in the first half. Texas up by 6. Shot clock winding down. Yancey floating it. And that is going to be a goaltend call, so give Kendall Yancey 2. We told you off the top of the show that Texas is 3 men down. Mo Isom is out with an ankle injury, but Snoop Roach Jr. is out, as well as Tevin Mack. And both of those players suspended for this game for violating team rules. It's a violation that happened at the end of the summer. But they have been suspended for this game, and they have also sat out the previous scrimmage that they had against SMU. I like the way that Shaka Smart addressed this and the way he set up why the suspension, talking about twofold. the standard that put in place at his Texas program, and long-term, the importance of them to learn the lessons on how to be successful when they leave Texas. Talking about the future down the road, outside of basketball for these individuals.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I thought Shaka did an excellent job of how he handled it. He did, make a spectacle of it for the guys and made it more about their life and what they're trying to do as people, not only on the basketball court, but well beyond the court. The other point I want to make, though, is we had a list of names on the billboard as we came out of the commercial of McDonald's All-Americans, and I would tag the statement onto what Coach Smart said, in that those guys have set a huge standard for people that are coming behind them, that being Kevin Durant's of the world, the T.J. Fords, LaMarcus Aldridge. These are model citizens, obviously in basketball, but even outside of basketball with the way they've carried themselves. And these young men who are coming into the program have to continue that if they want to be a part of it.
Yeah, they need Mack, they need Roach. That's part of the foundation of this program moving forward, part of that freshman trio from a year ago with Eric Davis Jr. The Rams still all sorts of issues. They've missed their last 11 shots, but at the same time, it's not like this Texas offense is just churning and burning. Claire, another good post move. He gets this one to fall. Working up against Michael Thomas, a 6'11" post defender.
Yeah, and you notice Hollins isn't on the floor. The shot blocker that Claire was having trouble early on scoring against. But for Angelo State, it's not about getting bad shots. It's just they're struggling to execute those. Here you see in the low block, right over the top, Hollins is a much better shot blocker.
Hollins on the bench with 2 fouls. And that's Michael Thomas in there now. Junior transfer from Kilgore College. The drive by Pujols. And Kendall Yancey showing the physicality to pull down the rebound. Coach Roos says that Yancey
nice rim run.
Toughest dude on the team.
Nice rim run. Banks did a very good job there of getting himself planted right in front of the rim early here in the offense. And good job by Davis in finding him. I mean, Texas, by percentage, isn't doing the greatest job of executing offensively, at 36%. But I don't think scoring will be the issue for this team. It'll be more, to me, about making sure the offense runs smoothly and the ball is distributed to the right people at the right time. Again, simply because they don't have a traditional point guard. They'll have to do it by committee.
Yeah.
But I think that's a key element, especially as you get into the season low and you're playing teams like Michigan, of course, Kansas in the conference. Baylor's always good. So they're going to have to solve that puzzle sooner than later. And a game like this sometimes can be fool's gold in terms of where you are as a team, simply because from top to bottom on the roster, Angelo State just doesn't have the breadth of talent that the Texas does.
We have a lane violation on Angelo State, so Banks will have another opportunity to knock down that second free throw attempt. So we fully expect what? Snoop Roach, Andrew Jones, Eric Davis Jr. That's mostly who should be in charge of handling the rock up and down?
Yeah, and your statement / question makes my point. It's not clear. It's not clear in terms of who's going to lead that group. So it will be a committee, sort of like in football, where it doesn't always work as well when you have 2 guys at the helm trying to lead from the quarterback position versus 1 guy out there leading.
Can they get an 18-wheeler package? The floater to Allen, fighting for room, but look at that.
That's their version of it. Just throw it right down in the paint and let the big fella finish.
The Fro Bro. You see both of them, Banks and Allen, walking to the bench, and Texas has opened it up 24-10. The Longhorns opening up the lead in this exhibition match against D2 Angelo State. So Shaka Smart won't say this group is rebuilding. He believes the foundation was put in place a year ago. Guys like Jared Allen and James Banks and Andrew Jones, they have been added to that foundation. But he knows it's going to be a tough year. There's going to be some hiccups along the way when you have a team that is this young. We're talking about replacing 6 starters from a year ago as Jones, the steal, and the flush. That makes you forget about some of that inexperience. Goodness gracious.
Yes, he does. Nice defense there with the long arms, turning defense into offense with the easy finish.
An easy look for Justin Hollins, no-go. So you mentioned replacing 6 guys that combined for 148 of the 165 starts last season. As Allen going glass. Is that part of his game?
Well, I can tell you this.
It's open.
What time? No, it's
open.
not. It's not.
It's open for the freshman.
It's roughly about 7:30 in the evening, and no banks are open unless you're in California.
Oh, I love it. Up and under for Devontae Pratt. That ends a Texas run. 21-0. Jones to Banks. That's a turnover, and the Rams running the other way. Allen wisely backs off as Foster gets the deuce. It's 29-14.
Yeah, no floor balance. And a lot of things going on with that pass. Too much hair on it at that close proximity. Not only that, I'm not sure you wanted to go in there because there wasn't much to create out of that possession.
4 freshmen and a sophomore on the floor for Texas right now. Foul on the floor. Texas going on a 21-zip run. Andrew Jones running away. Some hang time, too. And then on the other end, it's open. It's open, Lance. Just deal with it.
Okay.
It's Jared Allen time.
All right.
Presented by Modifying Workers Fries and Shakes.
18 points from the 4 Texas true freshmen as the Horns lead Angelo State 29-14 in this Texas basketball exhibition presented by Coors Light. 9 days away from the regular season opener against Incarnate Word, and there is Jared Allen, Andrew Jones, part of this heralded freshman class that is coming out, getting the most of their minutes here. Shaka Smart said earlier this week that in their scrimmage last week against SMU that the 4 freshmen played more than 50% of the total minutes in that scrimmage.
Yeah, I mean, these young guys need that time early to get comfortable with the system, and they're talented. I mean, quite frankly, they're very good ball players, and everyone knows that, recognizes that. You know, Coach Smart had Allen and Banks this summer and watched them and saw what they could do at a very high level. So to me, that's no surprise. And then we saw it last year also, Lowell. Shaka's not afraid to play freshmen, even through growing pains.
Yeah.
And so I wouldn't expect anything less, not only from the freshmen, but from Coach Smart and playing his young players.
Allen missed both free throws. 29-14 lead, 6:40 left to go here in the first half. An off-balance attempt from Lorenzo Dillard, scooped up by Allen. Kendall Yancey driving baseline, gets it off the glass. And Yancey was 6 points, 3 of 4 shooting.
Yeah, and looking at Angelo State, as Texas wears them down, their strength is their weakness, and their strength is there's really no bad shot, and they're comfortable with it, and because of that, they end up taking a fair amount of really difficult shots against this Texas ball club.
Really the ability for Jones to corral that one in transition off the feed from Kendall Yancey, and Texas has now made 7 buckets in a row.
And Texas in a 1-3-1 zone defense. Looks like they're doing some trapping as well. Angelo State not responding well to it, forcing them to shoot in the areas they want them to shoot. They being Texas, getting Angelo State to shoot in the areas that they want them to shoot.
That was Chase Riley missing the corner 3. See the baseline drive. Going up with a nice physical look there from Yancey. It's hard to believe, but only 2 players on this team started games for Texas last season. Kendall Yancey and Eric Davis Jr.
Yeah, and it is hard to believe, but it's understandable considering they had those freshmen, including Jr. and Isaiah Taylor.
Yeah.
Magnificent point guard.
Allen just doing what he can to save it after affecting the ball in the 3-point in the corner on the other end. Nice little hook, turnaround. Coaches really rave about his touch around the basket. We've seen some of that earlier in this game.
And also the hands. Not a lot of fumbling of the ball. We saw it there.
Great
he
goal,
saved the ball, put it back. He's got a game that is it's better than you think just because of the simplicity that he plays with as a big.
Jones, rebound, Allen.
Mitts, look
Back
at those
to
hands.
work, but rejected by Justin Hollins. Allen wants it again. And you can see he got caught up in a situation he didn't like.
I think he's fatigued, quite frankly.
And pull-up's nice. Allen's got 7. And Jones called for the foul.
Yeah, Allen has done a really nice job with his touch. He's first got the rebound to keep the ball alive. Here you'll see right in the mid-range area, you got to close out hard on him because he can score in multiple places. Here you see him going to the bench. I think he was a little fatigued. He's trying to play through it and did a nice job there with that offensive possession.
Impressive to see a guy his size move like that. How nimble, how quick he is. And Shaka's even said, it's rare to have a guy that big that moves like that. Most guys do not.
Yeah, and that's why you're a McDonald's All-American, one of the best players in the nation. I saw before the game, scouts know this too. Got a lot of teams in here, various NBA organizations here to watch him in this exhibition game.
So they're here to watch Jared Allen.
I know Shaka may not be overly excited about that, but it's just part of the landscape now in college
But isn't it good for your
basketball.
program?
It's excellent for your program, exactly. I mean, you get guys at Jared's level, you're looking at, if you're lucky, 2 years, but
Yeah.
more times than not, it's 1 year and out.
Ryan McClurg has entered the game. It's Rhino time. The floater from Jacob Young. And that is Quay King from distance.
Yeah, and King walks in, he's got a little young in him. He walks in the gym shooting.
How about this? As a sophomore at Midland College in a game, went 16 of 32 from 3-point range.
And it tells me, okay, so 16 is one thing, but 32?
Well, I guess the only way you're shooting 32 in a game is if you're hitting 50% while you're shooting those. Texas up on Angelo State, 35-17.
College basketball.
All right, Longhorn fans, get those hands up, get those horns up. Who wants those free shirts? We're going to be here for the high school all year giving away.
College basketball on Longhorn Network, presented by Coors Light, is brought to you by Whataburger. If you love sweet and spicy, you'll love Whataburger's Sweet and Spicy Bacon Burger, here for a limited time.
Some good smiles right there from the Texas Longhorns and from the kids at Dell Children's Medical Center. That was back in late September when the team took a trip there to hang out with the kids, get to know them, lift their spirits. It reminds me of a quote that I heard from Shaka Smart during practice recently, telling the guys to get over yourself and focus on those around you. When they can do that, they will be a really good team.
Yeah, and how about the canine in the photo?
You like that?
I like that.
Do you have dogs?
I do. Walter. I gotta let you meet Walt.
I did meet Walter.
Did you meet him?
Remember? On First Street.
Oh, yeah.
President Obama in the
That's
motorcade.
right.
I saw you, and you had Walter there.
You had,
yeah.
Your family was there.
I had my
as
crew.
well, and everybody
We were watching the
loved
President
Walter.
of the United States
Yes,
in her own
exactly.
hood. That was pretty cool.
That was beyond cool.
Back to basketball. Oh, the flush. Cornelius Hudson.
Hudson on the nice backdoor cut.
And contact on the other end. Just Hudson collided with Young.
And Hudson, exceptional athlete, and just gives it, all of it back with the senseless foul. I mean, there was no play that could have been made there defensively.
Hudson started his career at Wake Forest, started 11 games there over 2 years. And he's got a famous brother, Michael Crabtree, a former Texas Tech great.
Yeah, you got on me for not seeing
How can you
infamous
not
pass.
know who Michael Crabtree
I
is?
didn't see the pass. I mean, 2008, I was. Where
You
was
should
I?
have been crying
I was in
a
Phoenix.
fetal position,
I was in
like
Phoenix
most Texas fans.
I was working.
Goodness.
I was working. I was.
It's the Crabtree crash. I like it, though. Most Texas fans have tried to forget it. You obviously have done that. So good for you, my friend.
I'm sure I saw it and forgot it. That's a great point.
Jacob Young got the split at the line. Speaking of football, Vince Young has been a big mentor to him in his high school career in Houston.
The push.
Yep. We're going to get Thomas Tishikaya for that one. Number 3 for Tishikaya.
Yeah, watch right in the middle of the back. Texas in position to get that rebound. Foul trouble issues all over for Angelo State, and that's simply because Texas a lot bigger and stronger.
Yeah, a lot bigger. Shaq Claire in the bonus as he will head to the line. Hits attempt number 1. Claire 6'8", 275, 8.1% body fat. And according to Daniel Roos, that is freakish for a man of his size.
Yeah, it just shows his commitment to wanting to get better and do what needs to be done to be the best player he can be to help this Texas ball club.
Shaq Claire gets both to go. It was also a perfect 6-6 from the charity stripe in that orange and white scrimmage. It was a fun night over at Gregory Gym.
It was, and the Texas students and fans do a great job of coming out and supporting these Longhorns, and they very much so appreciate it.
Inside feed from Foster to Andre Nikita. We've got some free throw attempts coming up for the junior guard from San Diego.
Yeah, and Nikita did a very nice job of creating the contact as he was going up, because he certainly didn't have the length needed to get this shot over the bigs. There you see he creates the contact with Claire and draws the foul.
Nikita was a NJCAA second-team All-American at Arizona Western College last season. 19 points per game. And so after that run we saw from Texas, 21-0, started opening up. Game has hit a little bit of a slow patch here. Always interested to see how teams perform when the game hits a moment like this. Can they find a little something, get another run going into the break, these final 2 minutes before the half?
That's a well-made point. A lot of coaches emphasize the last 2 minutes as we approach it of the half and making sure you close those out. If you don't want to relinquish or give up or give momentum to the opponent.
How'd you like that move?
Very nice. Very nice by the big fella.
He's got 6. King drawing a whole host of defenders. Who's too strong from three-point range? Jones is going to lob it up. Allen, too tall, too good.
Yeah, they just have too much size. I mean, Angelo State just can't compete with this Texas length. And this will be a place, to me, their size is where they'll have to take advantage and make up.
Jacob Young with a one-on-one. Hey, what were we just saying about the final 2 minutes?
Close them out.
Yeah, they picked it up.
The other thing, the most impressive thing to me of the half of this Texas ball club, as many times as they've turned Angelo State over or forced them into bad shots, Angelo State only has 3 free throws in the half, which says a lot, because we talked about the fouling that we saw in the orange and white game, and Coach Smart has talked about it. It's pretty impressive when you can send a team to the line only 3 times in the half.
Turnovers were an issue in that scrimmage. Has it seen a little better here? I mean, the number's 6, but does it look like they're controlling the basketball a little better?
It does. It looks like they're getting shots. And it looks like they don't have as many careless turnovers as they had in the scrimmage.
I guess that's a great way to put it. They were careless in that scrimmage.
Yeah, you have to value each possession. Sometimes when you're younger players and guys that are new playing with each other, you can end up with turnovers that are a bit senseless.
Claire picks up his second foul. That will send Gustav Pujols to the line. He's from Latvia. TJ, see, that's what we're talking about. TJ Ford. He's got holes. He's got a porous sweatshirt.
Texting.
Ripped up pants. They probably cost $1,000 each. But that's how TJ rolls, and we love him. TJ is big time. Hey, he loves this program.
He does.
He certainly does.
Very passionate about teaching and working with the guys. And he comes around and spends a lot of time in Austin. From Houston. Spends a lot of time in Austin and has done a ton for this program.
Davis the drive. There was a little contact there from Hollins. No call. Booz quickly back the other way. Short. 11 seconds left.
Let's see.
Davis
is taking this shot, no doubt, right? No, well.
It's going to be Young. they're not going to count this one.
Davis gave it up to the young fella.
And you know Young's going to take that
Oh,
shot.
of course. And between the two of them, I know Allen wasn't going to see it.
May have had a fight if Tevin Mack was on the court. With who wants to take that shot. 44-25. Texas with the lead of the break. Here's another look at that final shot.
Got a shooter's bounce as well.
Globetrotters bounce.
That's right.
Ain't gonna count that one. But Shaka Smart, I think he's smiling for many reasons. He's got a big lead going into the half. That shooting percentage that was down in the 20s rebounds to 45% for Texas going into the break. This final warm-up before the opener against Incarnate Word. 44-25 at the break. Nine days away from the start of season number 2 for Texas men's basketball under Shaka Smart. They lose 6 vital playmakers from a year ago, but still going into year number 2, it's positivity looking forward because of the foundation from last year's freshman class.
Coach's first season was good. It's really good. He did a lot. Went in, teaching the group his style of play. think we did a good job, soaking it in and trying to implement it into the game.
When Coach was coming in, I knew about him. I was saying, oh boy, he can do a lot of running. And that's exactly what we did. So I was right on with that. But we loved him, man. And for me, walking the campus, he gave us a positive vibe, great attitude, very enthusiastic guy. You could hear him before you see him.
Nice shot. That's good, D, and it's a great shot.
Last year was just like him just trying to impose like his goodwill on the team, basically. Just trying to get everybody energetic and just having fun.
He has this thing where he tries to come in the room every day and thinks he's taller than everyone for some reason. I'd be like, Coach, come on, man, you got to stop this.
It isn't a norm for head coaches, hang out with their players like a lot. He spends a lot of time off the court with us, he really gets to know who we are as people.
I think the biggest thing is just learning a lot of stuff about our guys and understanding what helps motivate them and what makes them tick and what makes them who they are as people.
Probably the most important thing I learned was responding. I never was really taught that, in high school, because I was always the best player on the floor, things like that. So, responding wasn't something, that I really knew about. And in college basketball, you have to respond because, everybody's came from, being the best player at their high schools. And, a lot of things probably won't go your way. So, definitely responding was the biggest thing I learned.
I think one of the things that everyone wants to focus on is just the basketball component of what we do, and obviously there's a lot of attention paid to that. But these guys are whole people. They have lives, they have families, they have class. Some of them have girlfriends, they have emotions. So the best thing about having been here a year is that I have a much better understanding of those things with our guys than I did last year at this time.
He's a great guy, man, and I love playing for him. He pushes us every day. And sometimes guys think he's too hard on them, but he's coaching them to make them the best version of themselves. And I think they're starting to understand that. We couldn't ask for a better coach.
From coach to player, Texas men's basketball invested in the future of this program. When we return at the half, we'll take a look at the schedule for season number 2 under Shaka. The regular season starts, and a home tilt against Incarnate Word. You can catch that right here on Longhorn Network coming up on November 11th. And as you look at the schedule, you don't see any trips to China. You don't see any trips to the Bahamas. Instead, it's just up to Brooklyn into Ann Arbor. That's right, the matchup with Northwestern, November 21st, in either Notre Dame or Colorado. That will be part of the Legends Classic Championship rounds up in Brooklyn. And then the road trip, a lot of the young guys are fired up for going on the road to take on John Beilein and the Michigan Wolverines on December 6th.
It's gonna be a great matchup. You know, respect them. They have a great team, great program up there, and you know we really got to prepare for them because we have them early. So it's probably one of our first big matchups. So I'm really excited about that game.
I'm looking forward to going to Michigan. I've never been there before. Eric's from there, so he's gonna have all these people there. I'm just excited just to go out there, just play in Ann Arbor.
Get to go back home. You know, all my friends and family get to come to that game. You know, Michigan recruited me. You know, I know some of the Michigan guys probably know everybody on the team. You know, because they're probably a lot of them are from Michigan. Played in my high school, so definitely a homecoming game. I'm looking forward to.
So, Lance, it's a Michigan team not currently ranked in the preseason top 25, but that doesn't mean you cannot make a statement with a win in Ann Arbor.
No, that's going to be a difficult game for this Texas team. I don't put a lot of stock into these preseason rankings. They
too early.
Way too early. Just think about it. Lowell, we're talking about 30, 35 days from now. They've got to go up to Michigan. So that game will almost be a little bit of a throwaway game for me because has the team gelled yet? They won't even have 10 games or so under their belt. But nevertheless, an incredibly important game for this team to come together and a great opportunity playing at Michigan.
And I don't care who you are, but to go on the road against a team returning 5 starters, for a young team like Texas, that is a difficult matchup. You look at the AP preseason top 10. Don't look, because Lance, he doesn't buy into any of this talk. But it's no shock that the highest-ranked team from the Big 12, the Kansas Jayhawks, once again coming in number 3 overall. And there are the Texas Longhorns. You see at number 21, one of 4 Big 12 teams in the top 25 of the AP preseason poll. When we return, second half basketball between Angelo State and the Texas Longhorns from the Irwin Center. Basketball season back in Austin, Texas. Watching some Texas hoops. Brought to you by Coors Light. Back here at the Irwin Center. It is all Texas in the first half, 44-25 in this exhibition over Angelo State. Welcome back inside the Irwin Center. Lowell Galindo here with Lance Blanks. 5 minutes in, Lance, this is a 10-8 lead for the Rams. But Texas from there, they go on a 21-zip run. All 7 available scholarship players score in that run. So much of it, though, set up by their defense.
Yeah, I thought it was the defense that was the difference for this Texas ball club. They used their length and athletic ability to turn defense into offense. And here you'll see it with Jones running down and hits Young in the corner. These young freshmen aren't afraid to put the ball up, and then he turns his own defense into offense with a nice finish after the steal at the top. Then you see here, Yancey steals the ball out of the double team and gets it in the hands of Hood. And then on the rebound, they're also not afraid to throw it inside. Watch the big fella, catches it right over the top. Textbook offense in that he doesn't bring the ball down, keeps it above his head, and finishes.
And here are the Coors Light cold hard facts from the first half. And it backs up your tape right there. Points off turnovers, 13-8 advantage for Texas. Points in the paint, 26-12 advantage for the Longhorns.
Yeah, and look at this right here. I mean, 4 for 27 between the two ball clubs. That is huge. But again, they have the big lead, they being Texas, because they're using their defense and their size to turn this team over or force them into poor shots.
Well-balanced approach so far from this Texas men's basketball team. The 7 available scholarship players in this game, all of them have scored at least 5 points in the first half of this game. And the 4 freshmen, 53 of the 100 possible minutes played in the first half for this Texas team. Yeah, they are getting production from the young guys.
They're getting a lot out of tonight, too, because even though they're missing guys like Roach and Mack, they're still playing similar type lineups. And also guys are getting a lot of reps that they might not get if they had a full assortment of their roster.
Yeah.
So there are benefits. And then, of course, let's not forget Ryan McClure coming in and playing. Let me tell you what that's great for Lowell. Morale. Huge for morale, seriously, because you go and do all the work you do during the week.
And he does a lot. McClure does a lot.
He does a ton, and you rarely get to play, so that's great for team morale for him to get these minutes.
Allen coming out, early touch and a travel. Get a solid first half. 9 points, 6 rebounds, 4 of 8 shooting. On his way to a double-double. Mentioned no Roach, no Mack, both sitting out this game for a violation of team rules. It happened near the end of the summer as we have the travel from Cornelius Hudson. They also did not play last week in the scrimmage, the closed scrimmage against SMU. They have been working out with the team, so they are still involved.
Yeah, and like you, Lo, I've watched these guys practice, and there's no hangover. You didn't get that sense from Coach. Nice block there by Holland. You didn't get that sense from Coach Smart in the press conference that there was any hangover, and I watched it with my own 2 eyes. Watched them practice this week and then watched them around the scrimmage time, and it's just they're focused on getting ready for the season and making these guys not only better basketball players, but better people.
And that's really twofold, the approach of the coaching staff and the willingness to accept the punishment by the players.
It is twofold, and you know, I applaud coaches who can adjust, if you will. Ooh. Nice look.
Great
there.
King,
as we talked about, comes in the gym shooting. But I applaud coaches that can come and accept guys for who they are, but also discipline them appropriately to force them into being the best people that they can be. Yeah. Coach Smart, and I've heard other coaches say it, he's talked about being the best version of yourself. And I agree with that statement wholeheartedly. And you can't do that without a level of discipline with the student athlete.
Well said. Yancey driving kick to Andrew Jones. Missed everything. And a good play in transition from Lorenzo Dillard.
Yeah, floor balance is a struggle for this Texas team there, but They haven't shot the ball particularly well, that being Texas from beyond the arc. I mean, we talked about it at the outset.
Too short, LeClaire cleaning up after the Allen miss. All started with a nice feed from Kendall Yancey.
Yeah, and that's where the game is being won for Texas. Around the rim and easy looks on run out.
King for 3. He's got 8.
Coach Smart doesn't want to just exchange baskets here and give Angelo State any hope early in this second half.
And the hope is in the form of the man wearing number 4 on his chest in gold. It's Quay King from Angelo State. A couple of 3-pointers to start off this second half. That makes it a closer game, 46-32. Angelo State trying to make a run here to open up the second. Texas playing without 3 key contributors in this exhibition against Angelo State. Mack and Roach suspended for violating team rules. As Jacob Young fires from 3. He's got it. That's more the accuracy you want from distance.
It's also, these threes are all over the map. I mean, we've seen everything. Good-looking threes like the one that Young just shot. We've seen banks. We've seen wide left, wide right. It'll be interesting to see is how this Texas team
hey, heating up.
Shoots the ball this year. Speaking of shooting
heating
the ball.
Up. Quan King.
No, I think he's heated up, Lowell. He's warm. You better get some antifreeze on him because
he's now in double digits. Quay King with 10 points.
He's putting it on these horns here early.
He's got 8 points
in the half, and he's all but helped this Angelo State team crawl back into this game.
Yeah, 8 points in the first 2.5 minutes. We're talking about the players not available as Young comes up short. Maurice Isom, transfer from Arkansas Pine Bluff, is out for a couple of weeks after having his ankle scoped because of a bacterial infection. Isom's a stretch forward for this Texas team. As Yancey will go to the line.
Yeah, and Isom, he's from here in Austin, so he's back home. He's graduated. He's a mature player, so he's an example of what will help this Texas team with winning games this year because he's got a lot of experience. Obviously, he's played at the college level for several years now, and he'll have a level of maturity as will this young man, Yancey, at the line, to help lead these young freshmen and sophomores and help put them in positions to win in games where they'll need that kind of maturity this season.
Nice of not out for tonight's game.
Great move.
Taking care of that ankle.
A great move by this coaching staff. You know, we talk about the young thing, as in young team. And I think they put enough guys on the roster to where they don't have to really live by that this season, because they've got guys that are sophomores. They got a lot of minutes last year, as we know. And you've got guys like Isom and Claire and Yancey. So it's a good mix, really good mix for this Texas ball club.
Allen pulls down the rebound. That's the miss from Hudson. And Yancey in transition.
And this is where Texas has excelled tonight in their transition, be it rebounding and pushing or turning their steals or turnovers into offense.
Young, Yancey, and Allen all with 9 points to lead Texas. Hudson, the kick out. You had to get a high arc off that because Allen was charging hard. And it's that man again, Quay King.
I want to talk about Allen. The thing I like about this young man, and offensively and defensively, he's very comfortable in pretty much any area of the floor, maybe except for three, even though he banked one early.
Oh, a late whistle there. Hollins, he's running in place because he thought he got all ball.
He looks like he's getting a little mini workout, and I'm not sure I disagree.
Let's see.
Much with him. Ooh,
what do you think?
Know.
What do you think?
I think that Allen got a nice call there.
4 fouls for Hollins.
And Hollins it just shows how exceptional he is with his length and ability to impact, alter, or block shots.
Cal State Bakersfield a year ago averaged only 12 minutes per game, yet blocked 60 shots, a program record. I imagine a guy like that found himself in some foul trouble as well.
Oh yeah, because he's going for pretty much everything.
3 D1 transfers starting for this Angelo State team.
We talked
Allen
about
misses both free throws.
Coach Boone, and just hats off to Coach Boone with his ability to recruit nationally, you know, at a D2 program that considers itself one of the best and has shown that record-wise.
King cannot hit there. Rebound Banks. Andrew Jones spinning. Dillard was looking for a travel call, but instead it's going to be a foul on Angelo State. Texas up 52-37. 3 players with 9 points for the Horns. Cinco Boone may just be the most interesting man coaching college basketball. You know, Lance, he did not play college hoops at Eastern New Mexico. Do you know why, though?
Lo, I was just wondering why. No, I don't know why.
Because he was on the school's rodeo team. He was an upcoming calf roping star. No joke here. Grew up on a ranch in Elida, New Mexico, town of 250 people. His dad and his uncle are both world champs in the PRCA pro rodeo circuit in calf roping. He said in his mid-20s, he honestly had to make a decision what he was going to do with his future, and he chose coaching basketball over calf roping. That's an unbelievable story.
And just a sweetheart of a guy. I spent a little time with him before the game as well. He coached with Coach Beard at Texas Tech, who I have a little ties to because we spent time together this summer. Coach Beard and I did in the Canary Islands where he was recruiting. And this Sink coach is part of his tree.
Yeah.
And you know, that says a lot about him, and he's just a guy that rolls up his sleeves and digs in, maybe similarly to when it's time to rope cattle.
For the past 3 years, they've actually brought this team in early October to that family ranch. No cell phone reception. Some of these guys, it's the first time they've ever seen a horse. They sleep in sleeping bags in the ranch house and work out in a tiny gym down the road. But he was very open with us on the expectations following Chris Beard. Beard went to Arkansas Little Rock, had a great first season, parlayed that into the job at UNLV, which lasted, what, a couple of weeks before taking the job at Tech. He said there was pressure on him, but relieved some of that when they went back to the Sweet 16 a year ago. Davis goes down hard, draws the foul. As Texas continues to attack the paint.
You talk about practices, and D2 programs don't have the same rules. You see Davis gets tripped up. But D2 programs don't have the same practice rules as D1 does. So they've only had about 14 practices with these new bodies and new players on the team. So
they don't get those summer workouts.
Exactly. It's exactly right. And so they start a little later and don't have as much time with the guys. So they've got Texas has pretty much a big head start outside of a big size difference with their roster.
Yancey with the pull-up. Allen gets the rebound. Allen with his 9th board of the night.
And I really love Allen's game. It's very quiet.
I agree with that.
And it fits his essence as a player and as a person. I mean, if you can remember back when he finally decided to come to Texas, there wasn't a whole lot of hoopla around him. And he just kind of quietly appeared he was going to Texas.
He's a very cerebral guy.
Very cerebral, and he's about his business.
Picked up the offensive foul there. And he enters with an elite company as far as players expected to do major work as freshmen this season.
Yeah, and I think Allen will handle any expectations well, I think, because of his personality and his passion for the game. He's a basketball purist.
On the watch list for the Kareem Award, top center in college basketball. Technically, he really plays more of the 4 here, as Shaq Claire will start at the more traditional 5 spot.
Yeah, correct. And really, it's a lost position. There aren't many traditional 5s any longer in the game, really at any level.
Nice job of cutting to the hoop for Devontae Pratt. It's going to be Texas ball. And that is foul number 5 for number 5 as Michael Thomas will take a seat on the bench as the Rams lose some of that size as the 6'11" junior goes to the bench. And here's the scrum inside.
Yeah, and that's what's plagued Angelo State all night long, that being Texas's size. I think the size and Texas's ability to turn their defense into quick offense has really been the difference in the game.
So early on, we've seen one area of the game where Allen's king grow. That's the free throw line. He's not made one from the charity stripe tonight. But he can get those rebounds.
Yeah, he can. And Lowell, from a scouting perspective, I noticed over the years, rarely nice pass and a willingness to share the ball, but you rarely see guys improve from the collegiate level to the pro level with their free throw shooting. And I think it's because of the mental part of the shooting, because mechanically his shot looks fine.
Yeah, he can hit it from anywhere else.
Correct. And a lot of times it's the stoppage of play and the ambiance change for guys that they struggle with free throw shooting.
Banks on an island. 2-on-1, and he gets the block. Kendall Yancey coming in for seconds. Heads up, Lance Blinks.
Okay, we got to see that. I mean, how about the second effort, the multiple efforts by this Texas team? This, to me, is an example of how we'll see this team win games this year, Lowell. There's the steal, and then Banks doesn't give up on the play, stops the penetration, on-ball block, something that Banks is very good at. And if we see the continuation of this play, there you see it.
Yancey
the bottom
wraps
of
it up.
Yeah, exactly. Yancey comes in and gets a block of his own. Impressive defensive possession by Texas. Yeah, just you can't allow Shaq to have that much time. I mean, there's no way you're going to be able to stop him when he has that much time to square up around the rim.
He's got an array of moves.
Quick back off his feet to get the rebound.
Claire very good at the line. Now 3 for 4 on the evening. Going back to Banks in that block, he did lead Team USA, that U18 squad, in the FIBA Americas Championship that won gold. Led that squad in block shots. Played on that team with Jared Allen. Double digits now for Shaq Claire. Jared Allen with a double-double. Baseline spin, the kick out. Claire tried to block that one. And Banks, the board, the Fro Bros locking it down on the glass. Claire, nimbleness to stay in bounds.
This is where Claire will be tough to deal with.
Offensive board, physicality.
Almost the same thing over again. Thomas couldn't do a whole lot with him.
Except jump up, try to get on those shoulders.
Yeah, just too big and strong. You've got to bring a double team there. And the other thing is, I'm not so sure why you wouldn't, considering Texas has only made 3 from beyond the arc.
Yeah, I was watching Eric Davis Jr. on that possession. He's been a little quiet tonight.
He has, and scoring has been an area that I think he wants to assert himself this year and take some of the burden from some of the guys lost from last year.
Rare miss at the line for Shaq Claire. What do you think of these new uniforms, by the way, especially the new tops? The cut.
I'm okay with it. I'm not as big a fan of the shirts.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They look a little dainty.
Yeah, but I've seen it. I've seen it where it literally looks like almost like a T-shirt. So I can live with this little nuance. It's just when it gets too far. Maybe I'm a traditionalist. It gets a little too far from traditional basketball uniforms.
But Nike is going to these lighter uniforms all across the board, hoping that just dropping an ounce here or there helps guys stay more fresh later in games.
Yeah, and nice job by Jones setting his feet.
Shockable like that.
Yeah, you mentioned the uniforms. I mean, now the margin for error is so thin that equipment companies and shoe companies and the analytics and the sports science, everyone is looking for any edge that they can get to find ways to compete and win, both individually and collectively as a team.
Jacob Young, the only guy out there on the court for Texas, not wearing the KDs. Banks gets in the middle of that. Claire contests the shot. You got to give it up to the Rams. They are fighting here.
Yeah, and they're just throwing it up because they have virtually no chance of finishing around around the rim. I mean, this is David and Goliath all over again. Look at here. Get it out of here.
A couple of Davids in there.
Exactly.
And a lot of Goliaths.
That's right.
It's tea time with Texas Women's Golf on Longhorn Network. Catch the Betsy Rawls Longhorn Invitational Thursday at 8 Central and Friday at 8 Central. Tune in to Longhorn Network and watch it streaming on the ESPN or watch ESPN app. Back here at the Irwin Center, Lower Galindo. Lance Blanks watching Shaka Smart run out these four freshmen as a collective unit for the first time in front of the Texas faithful. Remember, Jared Allen wasn't able to play in the orange-white scrimmage because of a bum hamstring. But you got to give the coaching staff a lot of credit with putting together this recruiting class. Took a lot of persistence, too, especially waiting on Jared Allen, who really came down to the wire.
Yeah, and how about the timing, meaning this staff hasn't been here a long time. It's barely or just over a year.
Yeah.
And to come together as a unit, I mean, all the work and time and energy that goes into recruiting and to score a class like this right out of the gate, I mean, you got to take your hats off to the staff that Shaka has assembled in terms of recruiting.
Darren Horn, David Cason, Jay Lucas, the assistant coaches, and Mike Morrell moving into more of a front office personnel role. Still does a fabulous job. He's so critical on these on-campus official and unofficial visits that Texas has.
Yeah, and you mentioned that, and certainly there seems to be a lot of continuity. There's another miss by Allen. But a lot of continuity amongst the staff in terms of comfort with roles and what they do. And as you said, coordinating and organizing things on campus is just as important as getting them here.
Yeah.
The whole process, one thing can go haywire and impact whether a guy comes to a university or college or not.
And this Texas staff in on some of the best recruits in America for this class of 2017. So a lot of work to do there. Travel call on Angelo State. Mentioned all the suspense really for this Texas staff with Jared Allen. They went from barely in the top 20 in the ESPN rankings without Allen to moving up to number 11. Now there are a lot of publications, recruiting services out there that have this recruiting class for Texas as top 5 nationally. But you're doing pretty well when you bring in 2 McDonald's All-Americans, Andrew Jones and Jared Allen.
And I put more stock in these rankings than I do in the preseason rankings. And the reason is because you're ranking individuals and how they did at the high school level and putting them against other players that they've already played against. So you have a body of work that you can compare before you rank them. Whereas when they come to that university, it's a whole different ballgame in terms of expectations and otherwise.
And part of this number 11 class for Texas, the Fro Bros, Jared Allen, James Banks. You mentioned going up against great competition. They had a chance in the FIBA Americas Championship to play against some of the best now freshmen in college basketball and guys that are seniors in high school currently this year. What do you think that experience meant for guys like Banks and Allen?
I think it was huge, and not only because of the actual on-court basketball and playing in that environment, but when you, that picture says it all there to the right side of your screen, the bonding that takes place with these 3 people, because it helps the learning curve for when you get into the season. And then on top of that, the winning, showing that you can win together for the country. I think it's huge, Lowell, for what they experienced this summer.
Davis off the mark, still hasn't got that shot, that rhythm quite down. At the same time, hasn't been letting it fly a lot. This man has, as Quay King finally misses. Jones wants this one, he's got it. Andrew Jones, 11 points, joining Allen and Claire in double figures for Texas.
And that's been a lot of Texas's offense, has been in transition tonight. And whether it be on rebounds or turnovers, Texas, I think, tonight, one of the things they're going to have to take away from this is being able to execute in the half court. And I can't overstate it enough. That goes back to the point guard situation.
Yeah.
Here you'll see it. You get the rebound, no one stops the ball, so Coach Boone will be showing that in the video to the team tomorrow. But more importantly for Texas, as the competition raises, they won't be able to get this many easy baskets where they're just taking it off the rim and going to the basket unobstructed.
Now let's talk shooting, okay? Because if Texas gets into the regular season, Young forces that one away.
There's another example.
But nice and close. That's a makeable distance there. For Texas, though, going back to Eric Davis, if they get into conference play, Davis has a night like this, 2 of 8 from the field, is Texas in trouble? In other words, do they have other guys that can hit outside shots consistently?
Well, they have a guy that can hit them.
Right there.
Right there.
Answer my question.
And Young. But it's early. He's a freshman, and he hasn't shown that level of consistency. Where I think we know is he can be streaky and hot.
Yeah.
I've seen it in practice. We're seeing it now. But now he's got to transfer it, as you pointed out, into conference play, bigger games, bigger competition, and bigger people on the floor.
Yeah.
And so that's going to be an important element for this Texas team when they contend with different competition.
So shooting, we know Eric Davis is one of the best. Would you consider him right now the best shooter on the team?
Anecdotally, you'd have to give it to him simply because of what he did last year and his comfort. But I think that young man will give him a run for his money on the 3-ball.
Allen can shoot a little bit as well. We see most of his work inside. And man, Andrew Jones, don't need to shoot outside, but you need to get transition buckets like that. Wow.
Yeah, the one thing that I take from this game is where I think will be able to win games is on this defensive end, because they can rebound the ball with their size. And for every position defensively, they can match them with size. I mean, at times, except for Young when he's on the floor. But other than that, they'll be able to match people man for man when it comes to size, pretty much with just about anybody in the nation.
And this is a team that there's going to be the ebbs and flows of the season for a young team, but those plateaus where they will get better.
And how many times have we seen that tonight, where the guy who has the ball across half court really runs offense for himself, and that's because you don't have the pure traditional point guard who's looking for other people, looking for continuity, and looking to run offense. And this, to that point, is where Texas is going to have to excel in half-court situations.
Jacob Young is posing.
And when you got a man like that can knock down shots, you can just shut me all the way up because he'll be able to shoot over the top.
Yeah, he's 3 of 6 from three-point range. Hudson with the response, 3 ball of his own.
And I want to talk about Young. The thing you have to like about him, especially for a young freshman, is he's unbothered by makes or misses. It's going up, period, with comfort. And to me, that's a skill set also, because it's like the guy who makes a mistake and then he's not comfortable trying it again.
Well, I love what Shaka said, that of all the guys, you can coach Jacob Young the hardest. That says a lot about his willingness to get better. Oh, giving it up to Claire, but the shot blocker, Hollins, is there. He gets the rejection, but at the end of the day, still a bucket for Shaq Claire.
Yeah, and the reason why I think Coach Smart is saying that you can coach Young the hardest is because none of it's personal for him. A missed shot isn't personal. A made shot isn't personal. A coach yelling or not yelling is not personal. He's just a baller, as they like to say.
17 points, 3 rebounds. As you look at the rest of the freshman numbers, Jones and Allen also in double digits, and Banks has been a force. Block shots with rebounding as well. But back to Jacob Young and his mentality. How much of that also comes from the pedigree? His dad won more games than anyone in the history of Houston basketball. His brother playing with Miles Turner up in Indy. How much is it that?
Well, I would have to guess that the DNA and the environments that he's grown up in, and he's just comfortable in basketball environment. When it comes to coaching, certainly there are guys who have parents that might have played and they might be more sensitive. I think for me, and this is just anecdotal, that I think that's just this young man's personality. I mean, the basketball obviously comes through in him, but it's all easy to him. It's not a big deal. He coaches to yell or whatever they have to do, and he misses a shot, he misses a shot.
And there's the alpha, Eric Davis Jr. 7 points now. We know this, Davis is going to get his, and it's typically in the biggest games of the year when he's at his best. That was the case last season.
Well stated, yeah. And I remember the Carolina game as an example. It was a coming out party for the whole program, but he's risen to the moment pretty much all season long. He had a tough game or two here and there, but hats off to what he did last year. Horns up 74-44.
Great night to meet some of these freshmen. Jacob Young, the lowest ranked recruit of this fabulous 4 freshman class for Texas. He's got some confidence. He knows what to do with it. 17 points and 6 of 11 shooting with 3 rebounds as well. Shaka says that he consistently is around 50% from the field in practice. They track everything. Every shot is tracked, and he's shooting 50% in that ballpark during practice leading up to the season.
Yeah, and because one of the reasons is he's not going to stop shooting. I say one of the reasons, in particular in a game like tonight. He knows what he does. He shoots the ball.
Yeah.
And, you know, he's played all of his life and obviously been around the game. And he knows what and who he is. It is a advantage, I think, to a player when they know who they are.
Davis heating up. But it all starts and stops with Eric Davis Jr. He has taken control of this team, a process that really began last season when he was a true freshman in a team of veterans and never backed down when it came to speaking up and taking a stand. He would do that. Those upperclassmen, they respected him. As Allen will get called for the goaltend.
And I think Coach Smart would say, you know, he got a gift at some level walking in here to this program, and Davis had already committed.
He had to re-recruit him, though.
Exactly right. And Davis said he wanted to stay with the commitment, and he's come in and been special ever since.
He did tell us on Saturday, as a guest of Texas Game Day, that the weather was a big factor as well. Kid originally from Michigan, now playing his college ball in Austin.
Having lived up there, Lowell, that weather is no joke.
I will take your word for it.
You're talking springtime, and you're still getting snow flurries and having difficulty thawing out.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's got to start getting a little cool here at some point in time in Austin. I mean, we can't have 90 degrees going through November into December.
I understand, but I tell you, they're living in Michigan, there are worse problems to have than 90-degree days in November.
76-46, Texas with the lead over D2 Angelo State, the number 19 ranked team in the D2 coaches poll. They've been to back-to-back Sweet 16s on the D2 level as Eric Davis Jr. connects for his first three-point make, now 1 of 3 from the field. And that's more like it, and more what Texas fans are accustomed to seeing from number 10. Pushing it to Young, showtime. It's gonna go conservative route.
Yeah, how about
the layup?
Again, this Texas ball club, they're not gonna have a problem scoring. I mean, they've got guys basically like this lineup right here. They can score from any position on the floor comfortably.
And you've got 2 explosive scorers not playing in this game, in Tevin Mack and Snoop Roach.
Yeah, it's going to be about ball distribution, guarding that point guard position.
I saw Mack shooting with Shaka about 2 hours before the game, and we talked about him a lot last year as being a scorer. He may be making that transition into a shooter, because he was knocking down everything like Andrew Jones just did his first 3 ball of this game.
Yeah, and I thought with Mack, in watching him in practice and some of his shooting drills, there seems to be more of a poise with him that wasn't there last year. It seemed like he sometimes was competing against himself or pressing, if you will, or competing with teammates for scoring. But he seems to have a poise, and that's a lot of times what happens when you transition from your freshman year to your sophomore year.
And we hopefully will see him back out on the court for Texas when they open up the regular season against Incarnate Word. November 11th, 7 Central Time. Texas basketball presented by Coors Light. I love the smile on Jared Allen. I mean, that's an infectious smile right there.
Hollywood smile.
But he's a quiet kid. That's what the coaches say. Complete opposite of James Banks, who is loud and out there. This is the first 8 games for Texas.
Loud and out there.
You see most of them on Longhorn Network, Louisiana Monroe, Eastern Washington, and they head up after that to Brooklyn, Legends Classic, Northwestern, and then either Notre Dame or Colorado. Come back home for UT Arlington, Alabama, and then the road trip to Ann Arbor, Michigan to get some of that cool weather in. December 6th against the Wolverines. The Big 12 schedule, or the preseason poll, I should say, has Kansas at number 1. This was put together by the league coaches. West Virginia following the Jayhawks. Texas, number 3. But again, you say you don't pay too much attention to those preseason polls. So what should the expectations be for Shaka Smart and this group in year number 2?
Well, continuity for one, because some of these guys that aren't new, they've heard Shaka's voice. They know what the expectations are. Also, comfort with the coaching staff. I talked to Shaka about this when we interviewed him before the Orange and White about comfort just around campus, in the city, with your family and getting settled. I mean, it was a hurricane pace for him when he came in. So just the comfort and ease and continuity amongst the players and the staff, I think that'll show up somewhere along the season. The other thing I would say about this season is when you juxtapose these 2 schedules, the one last year where they were in the Bahamas and then they were in China, they were all over the world, literally and figuratively, compared to being at home playing against opponents with winnable games.
Yeah.
And what that's going to give them is a chance to gain confidence, a chance to get wins. Because when you get wins, it starts to get systemic in terms of breeding off of the confidence and loving to play with one another and so forth. So by the time they get to early December, they should have a nice assortment of wins under their belt, be able to compete as they approach conference play.
And also to compare it to last year, it doesn't seem like this team will flow through or revolve around one specific player. Early on last season, it appeared like they really latched on and identified Cam Ridley as the go-to guy early on, the person that they wanted to build around and feed in the post. And when he went down, that really forced them to change their entire outlook and their approach.
Totally agree with you. And I felt like it was difficult for them because I want to say it was the day before the Connecticut game.
You're exactly right.
When he went down in practice, they didn't even have a practice under their belt without Ridley.
And that was the start of the slide. They had just come off the win against Stanford. Isaiah Taylor with the game winner with a few seconds left. And it seemed like at that point in time they were starting to click. Yeah. And then the injury to Big Cam.
Exactly. And so they didn't make excuses. You could see that it hurt in coaches and players' faces, but they didn't make excuses. They had to reinvent themselves on the fly as they approached a tough schedule through conference play.
Big Cam is playing in Japan professionally, by the way.
Yeah, it's there.
Same team with Connor Lambert, a.k.a. Lambert Connor.
A teammate, Felix, is overseas. I think he's in Switzerland.
I believe that's correct.
Yeah, he's in Switzerland. And
Isaiah Taylor.
He was with the Rockets, and now he's with the D-League. And in talking to my sources, I hear that Isaiah.
Your sources.
My sources say that Isaiah was, because I didn't see him in preseason, he was magnificent for Houston. What I understand is the body. He's going to take him some time for his body to mature even a little more. Because again, he's just a junior, and the rigors of the NBA. But many believe he will play in the NBA, and I certainly believe he looked like an NBA player from what I saw last year.
When he was on, it was impressive. That speed seemed to give him such an edge in everything he did. And you know, talking about going into year number 2, seeing this team, watching them communicate on the court as Allen contests the shot. Everything is by design here. There's a reason why this team is communicating, and it's because they practice communication. As Allen gets called for the offensive foul. In practices, Shaka Smart forces them to communicate with each other, forces them to huddle up as groups without coaches to get the communication started before practice even gets going.
Yeah, Coach Smart, I talked about it last year when you got on me about my South Austin holistic and organic
vibe,
but I really believe it. He has a holistic approach with these young men, and it shows itself with this suspension. The two guys we're going to have tonight. He's thinking about the big picture and developing the whole person. And I think by doing that, that shows up, to your point, in things like communication and how you handle one another and being clear with what your needs are. All those little nuances, when you put them together, they can equal wins.
We just saw Jared Allen foul out, but he still has the double-double, 14 points, 11 boards.
College basketball on Longhorn Network is presented by Coors Light. When it comes to ice-cold Coors Light, 21 means 21. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
And now for our Turning Point, brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places. Jacob Young, the Turning Point, 19 points on 7 of 12 shooting, Lance.
This is a double turning point. Of course, the turning point here tonight for the game. But the other turning point I'm seeing is this young man here will be difficult to keep off the floor this year, Lowell, because we talked about it earlier. We talked about Davis being a good shooter. I think Young's a pretty dang good shooter as well. And this staff will need shooting. Exactly.
He fits a role.
That's right. To go with these bigs that they have, they're going to need to space the floor.
He's got an edge about him as well.
That's right. It's
you don't need anybody to tell you about it. Yeah, you just watch him practice in a game environment. He gets after it. Andrew Jones very quietly has 5 assists and 7 rebounds, and you can add that to the highlight tape as well.
Yeah, the thing that's been fascinating to me to watch tonight's game, I mean, how many people have we seen have the ball at the top in terms of, great point, running the offense?
And it will likely stay like that throughout most of the season.
It looks that way. I mean, I think Roach is the front runner to be the starter, if you will, as a point guard, but it doesn't mean much because I think it will be a committee of guys that take turns at the position.
Because Jones can also play the 2 spot. We know Snoop Roach can play that spot, did that primarily opposite Taylor a year ago.
All of them.
Yeah, Davis as well.
Right. I mean, Roach, as you said, Young can play on or off the ball.
Yeah.
I'd probably rather have him off the ball because he shoots the ball so well. Yancey on and off the ball. Yancey played a lot of point guard and was a secondary ball handler at times last year. And so it'll be very interesting to see how these coaches navigate the waters of not having a traditional point guard.
Texas 8 of 19 from the charity stripe here in the second half. Ryan McClurg doing what he does best, getting dirty. And we got a travel call. So this is really a bit of a homecoming for this Angelo State coaching staff. Cinco Boone told us before the game that one of the big reasons why they decide to take this exhibition here in Austin is because they have 2 Texas graduates on staff. David Lewis is on the bench for Angelo State. The flush from James Banks. Lewis right there, former student assistant under Rick Barnes.
The Barnes tree.
And GA, yeah, part of it. And Chris Wright is not part of the staff here in Texas, but did graduate from the University of Texas. As Pratt hits the lofting three-pointer.
Pratt puts it up, forever shooting the ball. And I mean, no embarrassment on this Angelo State team. I mean, considering Coach Boone talked about it before the game. He said size would be the issue. And I think Texas just overwhelmed them with their depth, even though only 7 scholarship guys were available, and their size.
So here's David Lewis.
There he is.
Yeah, student manager here from 07, 2011. Wait, that's
Under
Rick
the
Barnes,
elbow.
right? Oh,
Under
there
the
he
elbow.
is.
Under the elbow.
He gets the spot shadow. Also was with Coach McDonald here in Austin for the Austin Spurs, and then worked with my former college buddy, Rob Hennigan, the Orlando Magic.
Former Spur intern.
Rob Hennigan. You know, we used to do
level at Orlando.
TV shows together back in the day at Emerson College.
Oh, really?
Yeah, now Rob Hennigan is an NBA GM, and I'm hanging out here with you. Which is advantage me
Wait
clearly.
a minute.
Which
That's
is advantage me clearly.
Oh, nice recovery.
No, I'm saying, why would you want to be an NBA GM? You've been through that lifestyle, and I'm sure you prefer this, hanging out here with me. Much
Man,
more than
now you cover Longhorn games, and you know about recovery speed. That's big time recovery speed right there. You didn't even skip a beat. You just recovered as I was rolling under the bus.
I know. Oh, just trying to keep it organic.
Yeah, holistically.
Yeah. Hanks gets the free throw to drop.
No, it's not reflected statistically, but the bigs actually have very nice mechanical touches at the free throw line.
Yeah. Allen struggled.
He struggled with the result. He did.
But you like the process.
I like the, yeah, exactly. I love the process because.
Whoa! Jacob Young contorting his body to get that one to go off the glass. He's got 21.
Well, this is what it looks like when a team has just been worn down.
Yeah. But this Angelo State team, they will be fine. In the Lone Star Conference, one of the favorites there, and you can see why. They do have very good talent. And when you consider you're looking at a team, a D1 team, upper echelon in Texas, going up against a group that has just 3 former D1 players, has Banks showing off the touch.
Yeah, he is. And you have to appreciate by Angelo State the willingness to come in here to Texas, being that they are a national D2 program.
Yeah, this will help them.
And absolutely, and it'll help them in many ways. One, it should help them with recruiting, considering the stage they're on. But 2, it'll help the team in terms of their preparation, because in D2, they won't meet a team with this level of talent all year long.
No, they will not. I mean, you're talking about, after that make from Banks, 6 Texas players now in double-figure scoring.
Yeah, and I mean, tonight they played against guys, don't force me to pick them, but they played against guys that likely will be playing at the NBA level tonight.
You mean Joe Schwartz? May the Schwartz be with you.
Well, you can pick them. I won't pick them.
Plays with heart, though, does he not?
And heart matters.
The walk-ons getting their moment. Joe Schwartz off the bench. Ryan McClure. Good to see these guys out there because they go hard and do a lot of the dirty work in practice to make this Texas team what it is. Banks affecting that shot at the buzzer. And this one goes down. Texas 95, Angelo State 55. 9 more days, counting down to the start of the season. And Lance, I would imagine, gives you some positivity, but some things to work on before Incarnate Word as well.
Well, there couldn't have been a more perfect game for this Texas team. As you said, they got a lot of positive out. One, they got the win. It's important for the confidence. Two, they learned a lot about guys and where they do well and can excel, namely guys like Young, Banks, etc. And then also they got to play against an opponent. All positive as they prepare for their opener.
6 scores in double digits for Texas. Leading the way, it is Jacob Young with a cool 21. 4 of 8 from three-point range. A lot of youth on that graphic right there. As 2 more freshmen, Andrew Jones and Jared Allen in there. With Jones going for 17, 7 rebounds. Also had 5 assists, and Jared Allen with 14 points in his Texas debut. How'd the young fella look, Jared Allen?
I thought he was excellent. I mean, it's arguably one of the quieter double-doubles that I've seen in a long time from a college player. But he showed an assortment of what he can do, though.
Fitting for a young man known for his quiet personality. Horns are up for the last time before the regular season starts. Next time, it counts. The final score, Texas 95, the Angelo State Rams 55. Join Longhorn Network on Friday, November 11th, as Shaka and the Texas Longhorns kick off the regular season when they host Incarnate Word. Coming up next, it's the Texas Press Conference. For Lance Blanks and our entire Longhorn Network crew, I'm Lo Galindo. Have a great night. Thanks for watching from the Irwin Center. If you want these back, I don't know if you need them back, but there you go.
So,
Just doing digital highlights.
yeah.
Gotcha. Yep. Woo. Top 6.
They're in Cleveland.
Yeah.
Man, that's going to suck.
Hey, man, they already